What's up, guys? Just had some free time here. Got on the wife's Range Rover. I'm actually running some errands right now. Like, my employees are using my truck they're pulling the trailer out to a job site, which they're already there. I'm on my way to meet them. I had to go pick up some paint for them, but I was just gonna go over a few things on the Range Rover compared to the SRT. First few things, the technology in this thing is really nice. I love how you get two screens right here. Even though this screen is pretty small, that one's pretty nice. As far as, you don't really use it, not a whole lot of stuff. It has your three main things: your navigation, your media, and your phone. So you don't really have to mess with that too much. But this is nice with your seats. It has the dual climate here and here, and then you got whichever vents you want to turn on, off. You can do it separately through either one. You can sync them together. You can pop this down and it goes to your heated seats. Same thing for the passenger. So that's kind of cool. I like that aspect of it. The shifter, with it being a bump shifter, it definitely works better than the SRTs did. Which there was a recall on those, which is also why that they went to a slot shifter, I think in 15 or 16. Our SRT was at 14, so we had the old shifter. Space isn't the best as far as like cup holders and stuff. The Jeep was definitely a little bit more forgiving with that. Here in the console, which is kind of cool, but in the console you have a cooler, so you can actually hit that button right there and it starts cooling that, so you can actually have a cooler there for your drinks or whatever, which obviously we just use it as storage, but you got your USB and stuff right there. This whole aspect is really cool about it. I like that a lot. Anything with like the digital speedometers and stuff just looks so much more expensive to me. Now you can change this. You can do like a two cluster gauge, where you don't have as much information on the sides there, but really that's all. As long as I have a digital speedometer right there and then your RPMs, you're fine. Now this car does only have 23,000 miles on it, and we got a check engine light. I don't know exactly what that's about. Right whenever we bought the car, they had to go and put a new battery in it, and then the alternator went bad on it, which they ended up finding out that one of the valve covers were leaking, and it leaked oil onto the alternator, which fried the alternator. So they thought it was a dead battery, but it was actually the alternator that was all jacked up. So the bad thing about that, with it being a dang Range Rover, is you have to take it to a dealer to get any warranty work done, which is fine. But the problem with that is there's no big dealers around where I'm at. We're in Lubbock, Texas. Closest dealership's in Dallas, which is about 4.5 hours away from us. So they shipped the car up there. Didn't have the car for like a week and a half after I bought it. Didn't even get to drive the car. Bought it and had it shipped off to Dallas to fix the valve cover issue. It's under warranty, so I'm not really that worried about it. But now we got the check engine light, and I don't know what that could be for, because that shouldn't be related. They did a full inspection whenever I was at the Range Rover in Dallas, and they cleared everything, certified everything again. So I don't know what that is. I'm going to get that checked on. I just don't want to do it right now with all the coronavirus stuff, because they take your car, they say, oh, we'll have it back in a few days. Next thing you know, it's a week or 2 weeks, and then they shut down because all this stuff, you're out of car. So it's fine. It's not affecting performance or anything as far as I know. So I don't think I'm not sure what it is. I'm going to run it by AutoZone or O'Reilly's or something and see if they can read the code for me later today, and just get a better insight on it. But yeah, as far as everything else goes, car's really, really smooth. Doesn't have the most power in the world, little 3.5 V6 with a supercharger on it, but it's peppy enough. It's definitely not like the SRT, but it's a fun little car to drive. It's super smooth. I'm sitting here driving it with one hand, but it's so smooth. The way that this car, how quiet it is, it really is kind of like a driver's SUV. There's a lot of room in here. I'm 6'2". My knee's not even getting close to touching, which my seat's all the way back, but you can, the steering wheel is telescopic and everything, so plenty of room as far as how tall you are. Not a, if you have a car seat with the little extension in it right there, you kind of get close to hitting the seat, so this seat has to be up a little bit more, but you still have enough room. My wife's like 5'7", and she fits in there perfectly fine. I can sit there as well with the car seat. It's just not the most comfortable thing, so usually I'm the one driving, which is fine. But other than that, back seats, one thing I do like about the back seats is that there is this little fold down thing in the back, if you can see that. It's a huge armrest that basically is the entire middle seat. Instead of just a little section, it's literally the entire middle seat that folds down. So it makes it feel a lot more expensive and more comfortable whenever you're back there. It's just kind of something a little neat. The back end of the car, I'll show you here in a second. I actually haven't loaded full paint, but the back end of the car actually, I didn't realize it until today, but I was putting paint back there, and it's actually smaller than the SRT was by a decent amount. So this car actually is smaller than the Grand Cherokee by a decent amount, because the front seats are about the same, which the SRT Grand Cherokee I had almost zero complaints about that car. I mean, there's plenty of room, the power, it was comfortable, it was nice, it was quiet until I put an exhaust system on it. Man, really, I just didn't have any complaints about that car, but it definitely was longer than this one, and you don't realize that. But now, like I didn't have near as much room in the back with the paint, and the back seats are definitely less room in it, not by much, but you can definitely tell whenever you're sitting back there. But yeah, I mean, the gas mileage on this car is definitely better. 17.6. It's not bad. Here in Texas, this car's, honestly, this thing hasn't been on the highway very much at all. Went to Amarillo and back on, was it last Friday? And it averaged a little bit over 20 miles a gallon on the highway. So it's not, definitely better than the SRT. The SRT would average anywhere from, 13 to 15 if you're lucky. But, that's a completely different purpose-built car. Everything else is pretty cool. You have your vehicle stuff, the whole car's on air ride, which I'll show you that maybe here in a minute. You have your different modes, your seats, your climate, all that good stuff. But yeah, we'll get stopped here in a second, and I'll show you all the backspace and kind of what we're doing on the job site and all that good stuff. Okay, so y'all kind of saw the back end there. As far as the storage goes, give me 1 second, pulling up traffic here. But yeah, I mean, the car's great. I love the car. But if I had to do it again, and I had them side by side, and there's if it was the same year model, 2018 SRT Grand Cherokee, 2018 Range Rover Sport, the V6 one, the supercharged one. If you were going to buy them brand new, you're talking at least mid-60s for the SRT, if you're lucky, for a fully loaded one. And the Range Rovers, I believe this one was like, and I want to say it was high 70s, low 80s. Don't get me lying on that, but I know what I paid for it used and with 20,000 miles on it, so I'm just kind of assuming. I think I remember looking at the packages about that. Now, you can get the 5-liter option in this, which is the exact same car, same powertrain, everything, except for the 5-liter V8 supercharged in there that makes, I want to say 550 horsepower compared to this one, which is 380. That would be a whole different story. But kind of in the same boat, these cars are so different. This car is, it's more like a luxury car. It's comfortable. You're sitting here riding it. The SRT it's a very comfortable car, and it's nice and quiet. Rides good and everything like that. But you have a 6.4 Hemi in it, so it's a lot. It's a little bit louder of a car, but man, the performance of it's just so much better. Now, the 5-liter one of these would probably be really good. I really want one. I just couldn't find one. But my thing is for the money. Okay, so you got an SRT. Say if it's brand new, 65 grand. Say if this one brand new is only 80. the V6 model. Apples to apples, if I had to choose, I'd pick the SRT almost every time. Now my wife, she'd probably pick this car every time. But for $15,000, the SRT is just such a good car. I literally had, the only complaint that I had about the SRT was some trim pieces coming unglued, which they had that issue on almost every Grand Cherokee. They used to have really, like Dodge, Chrysler, Ram, they used to have those problems really bad. I think they've gotten better at it. That was a 2014, so man, 6 years. Hopefully they're better at that. I haven't seen any of the Trackhawks pieces that are coming off, so it may have just been an SRT thing before the Trackhawk came out. I think they kind of upgraded some stuff, but man, the SRT was just, I love that car. A little special place in my heart for that car. We had it for 3 years, bought it used. I mean, I drove the piss out of it. I mean, I hammered on it all the time, romped on it pretty much every time I drove it, unless my wife or my kid was in the car, obviously. But it was just a really fun SUV to drive. For it being a mom car, I don't see one that's better for the money. I mean, everybody has Tahoes or Suburbans or whatever, and they're great. Even if you get a 6.2 in those, they're sluggish. That little SRT Grand Cherokee with the 6.4 in it with the 8-speed was so much fun to drive, and it was so fast. I think it has 470 horsepower from the factory is what they rated at. I had a cold air intake on it and a exhaust system, and the original 0 to 60 I got on the car before that was like 5.1 or something. Now granted, our elevation level here is not the best. That was in pretty hot weather. If it was a little bit cooler, I think it'd run a little bit better. But after I did the cold air intake and the exhaust, not even a tune or anything, just those two things, I got the 0 to 60 down to 4.4 seconds. So it's a pretty fast car. I mean, I think the Trackhawk does it in like 3.7 or something, or 3.6, that's a pretty big difference to 60, but you get the idea. The SRT is no slouch. I mean, it would, GT Mustangs or SS Camaros, especially from a dig, it would just walk them. Now, once you got up to 80, 85, you're moving I think it was 5,200 pound vehicle compared to a 4,000 pound car that has a little bit less horsepower, way more aerodynamic, way lighter, meant to go that fast. So it was just so much fun to drive that car. This car is a completely different car. It's more of a luxury car. It's nice. It's quiet in here. Full glass roof, stuff like that. It's awesome. I love this car. But money to money, if it was just me and I didn't have a wife and kid or anything like that, if it was just me making the decision, I'd pick the SRT pretty much every time. Also with that being said, like I was saying earlier, is the 5-liter supercharged Range Rover is probably a lot of fun to drive. I'm sure it's really fast. I think these Range Rovers are a little bit heavier than the Grand Cherokee was, I think. I'm not sure. I'm sure with the 5-liter especially it was. But it would be a different car. I'm sure it'd be fast in a straight line or off a dig or whatever because it's all-wheel drive, but the handling of it and all that other stuff, I just don't think in the way that it's shaped that it would be better than the SRT was as far as just, having fun with it. Now, they're still obviously heavy SUVs, but it was a lot of fun to drive those cars. But as far as this car goes, I mean, I have, so far, the only complaints that I have is anything that happens to this car, whether it's an engine light or some random light that I don't even know what it means on this car, has to go to Dallas. Okay, well, instead of it being like a day thing to where you can schedule it at your local dealership, you got a day to ship it there. And then as soon as they can get to it, once it does get there, so you got a couple of days there. Then whenever they finish it, then you got to wait a day to get the shipping, figured out. Then it's a day to ship it back here. So, instead of a day or 2 day, 3 day thing, it's a week to a week and a half thing almost every time. And that's what's I'm going to be more frustrated about than anything, I think, at this point. I don't know what that engine light is, but I know it's going to have to go all the way to Dallas to get fixed. And that's what's frustrating. I could pay for it out of my pocket. For an example, the alternator on this car, I could have had it fixed in a day at a local shop, just an alternator. Okay, well, and that was, I didn't know that the valve cover was leaking, so thank God I didn't do that. But if I would have paid to fix just the alternator, could have got it fixed in a day. Alternator's not a big deal, it'll take a few hours. I have it shipped to Dallas, and it was was completely free. They did a full checkup. They ended up finding out the valve cover was leaking and all that other stuff. If I'd have done it here and just had the alternator replaced, shipping it to Dallas, everything was free. Just to have the alternator replaced on this car was going to be $1,200 to $1,400, which is insane. But it's because it's a Range Rover. Same thing with the windshield. This windshield, brand new windshield, $1,200, which does not make sense to me. I don't know why. It has Range Rover stamp on it down there. I don't know if that's the reason, or if it's the thickness of the glass, or whatever it is. But it's a $1,200 windshield. So whenever we bought it, they actually offer a program through Range Rover that you can basically prepay for one windshield, and it covers the windshield for the life of you having the vehicle. So I paid $1,200 up front, and if this even gets a chip or a crack or anything like that, they'll replace it for free. So that was worth it in my mind. But little stuff like that that's so crazy to me with cars. Like, this car has a supercharger on it. I would love to do like a smaller pulley and a little tune on it, just for the heck of it, just to have fun with it. Not make it a hot rod or anything, but give it another 30, 40, 50 horse. I think it'd be a lot more fun of a car to drive. Scares me to death because, one, it voids the warranty. Who knows what could happen then. These cars it's a little 3.5 V6. I'm sure it's not supposed to be pulleyed down or anything like that. So just little stuff like that. Now, if this was a Jeep and it had that, without a doubt, I'd be doing it. I mean, worst case scenario, you take it to a Dodge dealership. If you have to pay for that out of pocket, there's no way it's going to be as expensive as it is to work on a Range Rover. That's one of my biggest concerns with this car is, which it has warranty for another 40,000 miles, but something like that happening, and that's just what you get owning a Range Rover. But yeah, pretty happy with it. I definitely didn't, everyone always says they want to drive a Range Rover. I never really thought that I'd be able to get one this soon. I didn't realize the used market was where it was at for these cars. And then especially whenever we were price checking it, pretty much everything we were looking at, we were price checking it to a Trackhawk because we just loved her car, loved her SRT, and the Trackhawk was just basically the next best thing. So if you're price checking everything to that $75,000 mark for a used Trackhawk, which that's insane to me too for a Jeep product, but it is what it is. If you're price checking everything to that, you have a lot more of an options. I mean, we're looking at this. We're looking at the Porsche Macan. I can't remember exactly how you pronounce that. It was a little bit smaller, so we ended up not going with it. The Audi Q7, I believe we were looking at, or Q7. All of them were great cars. Those were a little bit smaller than what these were, and there wasn't a whole lot of used options. So those cars were so new that there weren't hardly any used options. So that's something that kind of got us stuck. The Lincoln Aviator we were looking at getting. Loved the cars in the commercials. I thought they were super cool cars. I wanted that high output EcoBoost motor, the same one that's in the Raptor. Has a 10-speed transmission. I really wanted that. But you go and look at them in person, and the car that they're advertising on a commercial is $90,000 to $100,000 options on that car. Though you go to a dealership, they don't even have those on the lot. You have to order those. So the ones they had on the lot, I just got so turned off by them. I mean, they weren't near what I was expecting to see. They looked so much cheaper, and just the whole outside of the car did not look as appealing as what I thought it did. In the commercials, with Matthew McConaughey and all that, I mean, those cars look sweet. I mean, they are very nice cars, but you can't even get those cars on a lot. And if they do, not the two dealerships that I went to here, they didn't have them. They had the $60,000 to $70,000 trim instead of the $100,000 trim, which I had no idea that trim package was that expensive, because pretty much all it is the front grille has changed a little bit. You have bigger wheels. I think they're 21s. And it looks to me like the cars are a little bit lower. I don't know if the newer trim packages have air ride like this one does, and that's just what it looks like whenever it's stopped, or what the deal is there. I didn't do a whole lot of research into it, but just kind of sucked. I really wanted that. I'm a big fan of the EcoBoost motor. I had a 2013 F-150 right out of high school that I bought, and it was an FX4 package, and I loved that truck. Absolutely loved it. It was fast. Didn't sound the best, obviously, but it was fast, good gas mileage. We pulled the boat with it like 2 to 3 days a week during the summer that I had that. Love that truck. So I was a big fan of the EcoBoost motors, but I just didn't see myself. I'm not spending $100,000 on a SUV that's essentially a Ford product. I mean, Ford owns Lincoln, so, or vice versa, however you want to say that, but it's essentially a Ford Explorer that has nice badging on it. Same thing with like a Lincoln Navigator compared to an Expedition. Same chassis, same drivetrain. I'm sure they use a lot of the same components. The interior is pretty similar. Looks a little different, but it's pretty similar. So I wasn't going to pay, $100,000 for a car that you can get that essentially has the same stuff in it for 45 grand or 50 grand. I mean, half the price. It didn't even make sense. So that's why we kind of went with the Range Rover. So far, I don't regret the decision. This car looks phenomenal on the outside. The black on black on black is. I'm so tired of having black vehicles, and I buy a black vehicle every time I buy a truck. So I see one or a car. So every time I see it, I'm like, hey, it looks nice, and then it gets dirty, and it's like, okay, now I remember why I didn't buy a black car. But with that being said, the black on black on black looks really good. With it being a Range Rover, it's already on 20s, which is nice. I'm trying to think of anything else to go over, really. The only thing that I thought was crazy about this car that I don't understand why, because of how expensive this car is, but they don't have cooled seats. They don't have AC seats, which sounds so dumb to complain about. But the 2014 SRT had it. Jeep had cooled seats. I mean, I had cooled seats in my 2013 F-150. Whenever it first came out, that was 7 years ago when they had it. And those cars are close to half the price is what this was. And so it really confuses me that this one, it has heated seats, it has all that stuff, but like right now, my back is sweating. And I have the heated seats off, but without cooled seats, you still, like, it's pretty warm today. I don't even know, 80 degrees today. So without that, I mean, you do start to sweat. And it's not the fact that, I'm just going to pour me out of AC seats. It's just you get accustomed to having those, and you just plug them on, and it's like you never even think about it again. But this car doesn't have it, and it's a super expensive car. It just doesn't make sense to me. Probably would have cost them a few $100s, maybe, to get that installed, their cost. Why not just throw it in on a car that's already 80, 85 grand? People would pay for it. Now, it has a heated steering wheel, heated seats, stuff like that. It's just kind of weird. The other thing about this is it has a lane assist to keep you technically like in the lanes or whatever. Doesn't work that great. If you have it on and you start merging over the lines without using a blinker, it makes a weird vibration, and it barely tries to keep you in the line. But at first, I didn't even know it had that, and I thought something was wrong with the car. It felt like it was like, it's like a weird mechanical shake, not like a electronic vibrate. The 2014 High Country I had after my EcoBoost truck had lane assist, where it would vibrate and literally like push you back into the lane. The seat vibrated. This one, it almost feels like the car's doing it. It's weird. I don't really know how to explain it. But yeah, so that doesn't work the best. This cruise control I'm really confused about, because it has like a LIM button that I thought was on and off on the cruise. If you push it, it doesn't do anything. If you just hit the set button, it pops up sometimes. I'm gonna have to figure that out. It's a little weird. Some of the stuff on the screen, I guess since this is technically like a car that was made overseas or produced overseas, whatever it is, that some of the vocabulary is a little different. Like favorites for your radio is spelt differently. Just weird stuff like that. But man, overall, I love the car. It's great. I'm nitpicking the little stuff. Like I said, AC seats, that sound ridiculous complaining about that. But for how expensive of a car it is, it's just crazy to me that they wouldn't just throw it in. There's like heated seats in the back, which is cool. I would rather, which I don't really have a whole lot of friends necessarily riding in the back of a car. Normally, if we have a lot of people with us, we'll just take the truck. There's a lot more room. But I would rather have AC seats up front than heated seats in the back. And that's probably the same cost to them. So I really wish they would have done that. But other than that, everything's great. I'm trying to think think of anything else to kind of go over. Just kind of quick review of the car. The navigation's pretty good. They do a cool thing where you can throw the map like up on the digital screen up here, which is pretty nice. I think like Audi and all them are doing it too. That's cool. Has CarPlay, so I just use Apple CarPlay honestly for any navigation or anything like that I have. I really wish that somehow they could do Apple CarPlay Bluetooth or wirelessly instead of having a cord. I don't mind it because it's nice you get a like little charger on your phone or whatever, but using cords I feel like it's a little out of date. I understand why they have to do that to run the Apple CarPlay. They don't just have it like, I guess, programmed into the car and it just pulls that up, but it would be cool if they could figure that out. I feel like that's coming. I think probably Ford's going to be one of the first ones to come out with that. I feel like they're usually kind of the up and at 'em on it. I want to say Apple CarPlay started in the Escalades. Don't count me on or don't quote me on that, but we'll see how far that goes. But yeah, other than that, if y'all have any questions, let me know. I can, we're probably about to be quarantined at some point, I'm assuming. We got some big projects we're about to start with the company, so hopefully we can still go through with that. I think we can. I'll try to get some videos of us like spraying a job and like stuff like that whenever I have time. I don't have time today. I have some errands I got to run while they're out there spraying it, or else I would sit there and record some of it for y'all. But it's pretty cool to watch that. But yeah, if y'all have anything else, man, anything on the Range Rover or my truck F-250, my mom actually has a Range Rover Velar, which she was like one of the first. I think she was the number 3. I want to say number 3 person in the States to get one ordered. That is the custom package that she has. It's like the R Dynamic or something like that. Has a hyped up motor. It's the same motor, V6, 3.5 liter. It may have some different internals. I'm not too familiar with Range Rover stuff, but same motor, same drivetrain, everything that this has, but it's the smaller one. So it's a little bit bigger, like the Evoque. It's a little bit bigger than the Evoque, but smaller than the Sport. It looks phenomenal. Like the outside of the car, it looks so aggressive and mean. It's such a cool car. All the trim pieces are like color matched and everything. It looks so cool. I can do a review over that one. Basically the exact same internal stuff that's in this one. So everything is the exact same. I don't think the only thing that's different is she has like a dynamic mode that locks it and all the way lowered the suspension and gives it that extra bump in the power, a little bit sportier throttle response and stuff like that. But the outside looks a lot different. And then she has like all white leather and stuff. It's a pretty sweet car. I'll try to do a review on that. So I don't know what the heck these cars are doing in front of me. I'll try to do a review on that after all this quarantine stuff is over with. I don't know how long it's going to take to get all this over with. It's just not, I don't want to go hop in my mom's car and be driving around whenever I'm out, with a bunch of different people every day. And it's just not smart to take that risk right now. But here in the future, I can definitely do a review on that. But other than that, man, I think, we're going to try to keep on pumping stuff out for you guys. It's kind of hard to have a whole lot of motivation for it whenever you're not getting hardly any views on any of these videos, but just something to look back on. Hopefully the channel grows and we can kind of look back at this in a year, 2 years, whatever it is, and just say, you know what, started it because I didn't have anything else better to do, and now we're having fun with it. So I enjoy doing this. I enjoy making the videos. I picked the wrong time to start doing this in a quarantine because there's not very many things that I can go out and do besides company stuff that's essential to us. Anything else, just putting yourself at risk isn't the smartest thing. But if y'all have anything else that y'all want to see, man, let me know, and I could do a walkthrough on certain different things, and we can get some videos put out to you guys. So if you like it, subscribe. That subscriber count gotta go up. Start monetizing some of the videos would be nice. I think we're at 100 subscribers, and I haven't really even tried on this video. I've just posted a few like racing videos and stuff. Back in the day, I had a few videos that had like 30 or 40,000 views or something like that, that was just messing around with some old diesel pickups and stuff. And so as soon as we get that subscriber count up and we're able to start getting monetized the videos, I think that's whenever it'll get pretty exciting for me. I like doing this. I just don't know. I don't want to, like, not necessarily waste my time, but be doing all this and putting all my time and energy to this if it's not going to pan out to anything. There's a lot of other stuff I could be devoting my time and energy to help financially grow and stuff like that. So yeah, like I said, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, and we'll try to get some more videos out to you guys.